An all-female crew went to space, and even though the Blue Origin rocket was blasting off into the endless abyss, somehow still managed to hit a curb. Also, does AOC still own a Tesla? That question is still out there lingering, and is this the death of daylight savings? All that and more coming up on this episode of Turning Point Tonight. My name is Jobob. Thanks so much for tuning in. Together, we are charting the course of America's cultural comeback. This is Turning Point Tonight. Before we get to any of that, remember, you can always email the show, tpt@tpusa.com. You can email whether you agree with everything we say or you're wrong. We love all of your emails, and the reason I bring that up now is we finally got hate mail. There is somebody out there watching that hates this show. Now, I don't want to belabor this fact all that much. I only bring that up to say this. If I were characterizing that email, it is indicative of what libs consistently think. President Trump is corrupt. How dare you say that he's not? He's taking from the American people and giving to himself, which is the first topic I'd like to discuss today. Is President Trump actually corrupt, taking from the American people and giving to himself? Well, we asked the internet, and the internet says, well, no. As a matter of fact, since President Trump entered politics 10 years ago, not adjusted for inflation, according to Forbes, he's actually lost about $400 million. So what you're saying is that, well, President Trump is corrupt and he's taking from the American people and giving to himself, he's not very good at it. You know who actually is great at it? It's people like President Obama, President Biden, Nancy Pelosi. If you look at the percentage of their net worth increases since they got into American politics, President Obama gained about 5,000% in his net worth, President Biden almost 10,000%, and Nancy Pelosi takes the cake with almost 25,000% gain in net worth. Trump, on the other hand, lost $400 million. So if you are making the argument that Trump is taking from the American people and enriching himself, you have to admit one specific thing, that he's not very good at it. The guy who was very, very good at business finally gets all the power and somehow becomes terrible at it? I'm not sure if that makes a ton of sense. And the people around Trump aren't doing any better. Elon Musk has a huge risk with his massive wealth. And yes, it is massive, but Tesla stock hasn't been doing great. I don't know if you've seen. Maybe it's because the libs are burning them in the streets. What I'm trying to say here is, if you're going to make the case, emails, those of you who are hate watching, that President Trump is trying to screw the American people solely to benefit himself, you also have to reason with the fact that, well, he's not very good at it. As a matter of fact, maybe he should take a page out of Nancy Pelosi's book in how to enrich himself off the backs of the American people. Here to comment on all of that and more is our fantastic panel. Kendall Bailey is a conservative commentator, and Steve Kuclo is hold on, let me get this right, a pro bodybuilder and functional health practitioner. Guys, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Jobob.
Kendall, I want to start with you here. You know, this is the biggest argument from the libs. President Trump is corrupt. The numbers don't show that. Either that or he's just very, very bad at being corrupt because his net worth has gone down, unlike so many of his predecessors and people on the other side of the political aisle.
Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer, you forgot. Those should both be on that list of individuals who just love taking money. And you know all those bumper stickers like "Eat the rich," and it's so unapplicable to President Trump. He is truly a man of the people, and it goes to show this exactly in these actions that he is being affected by this. This man could walk away today and he could make it rain on generations, along with Elon Musk. And yet they continue to work for our country because they believe that America is the greatest country in the world. And it's wild to watch. No matter what this man does, he cannot win. He cannot get ahead. The liberals can't stand him. Orange man bad. It's just this resounding, and I love that you started with an individual who just despises this show because it's impossible to argue with them.
No, it's so much fun reading the emails every single day. Again, all of you watching at home, we read every single one of your emails, and even though if you hate watch the show, we also read that email. Steve, I guess your thoughts here. When is President Trump going to enrich himself and his family even more, despite the fact having lost almost $500 million since he entered American politics, not adjusted for inflation?
At all. And you just look at the president's salary. What's he make? About $400,000 a year. So just right there, he's taking a huge pay cut from probably what he makes, on a monthly paycheck. But he's used to running a well-oiled machine with his businesses, and I believe he could turn our country around from what the damage that has been done. But he's definitely by not means on the take, which most of these politicians are. He's not writing huge or collecting huge checks like many of these politicians are, and I think a lot of the American people know that. For him to go 4 years, take the loss that he has, and then come back now for an additional 4 years just shows the kind of man and the American patriot he is, to really care about the country, care about the American people, care about the the middle class, which I feel like that's who a lot of the Democrats really ponder to, is the middle class. But really, who is there for the middle class is the right, is the Republicans. And it's good to see that we have somebody that is truly helping the American worker, the American people.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of some people who are not middle class, although they claim that they are, a bunch of rich female astronauts went to space on the Blue Origin blast off earlier today. Katy Perry was among them. Gayle King, Oprah's best friend, among other things, were among the all-female crew. Now, I made the joke that they still managed to hit a curb up in space. I'll just tell you that I don't condone the joke that I made. But at the end of the day, they were in space for 11 minutes. It supposedly cost $10 million to do that. And effectively, it was a vanity project. Kendall, for people like Katy Perry and Gayle King that love to, speak up for the downtrodden, was it right for them to accept something like this? Or should they maybe have gone, hey, there are a bunch of other female astronauts that may be more deserving of this. I'm going to go ahead and take a step back. But of course, they didn't do that. Maybe should they have?
I don't even know where to begin on this one. Well, first of all, Katy Perry had said that this moment was second to having her child. That's wow.
Whoa.
I mean, and they didn't even land anywhere. Like they just went up to space. Is that correct? Did they land somewhere? I saw a video of her kissing the ground. What was she kissing when she came back down to Earth?
They did land, thankfully. Yeah, thankfully it wasn't a disaster. But yeah, they went up space, were up there for 11 minutes and did land.
Okay, but they didn't land like somewhere. It's not like we landed on the moon here. They're just
they're
just
right,
up
correct.
in space for a moment. Okay, so they're up there for 11 minutes. She said that she went up there to model worthiness, and I want everyone out there to know that you are not worthy based on the fact that you can go into space or not. She's just saying she's wealthy beyond measure. I mean, she uses her money to fly up to space and accomplishes nothing other than that. I also think we should point out this wasn't just a team of women, Jobob. This was a complete DEI hire. I wish you guys had the picture of all these women, but the number of races that were covered in this is comical. This looks like some kind of Vogue cover shoot. And I wish she had worn something more Katy Perry. I was a little disappointed in the outfits. They were like basic space outfits. And I also feel like she has this song, E.T., Extraterrestrial. I wish she had performed it. And we had 11 minutes up there. I wish she had performed it and thrown her vocals up.
Oh, that would have been hilarious. I could see the headline now. Katy Perry struggles to enter the Blue Origin space rocket because her massive peacock outfit is not being able to fit through the door. Steve, before I get your comments, I want to play this clip from CBS today talking about the leap forward in mankind. Oh, no. Actually, it's this. Watch this.
So explain to our audience why even a trip like this one, all the trips that we take into space benefit mankind.
So it benefits humankind, and I'm going to keep correcting the mankind and the man-made and the man missions, because this is exactly what this mission is about, is expanding the perspective of who does space.
Guys, that reminds me of that one time several years ago when that congressperson said an invocation or a prayer, and at the end of it said, "Amen and a women." Steve, how much does this matter to people? Why does this matter to people? Guess more to the idea of changing the language to mean something that it's not. What's going on here?
I think Kendall nailed it. Talk about a waste of money and research. I don't think they went much higher than what a normal airplane can travel. And it's not like they landed on the moon. It's not like they did some space exploration. Many people will even question that. We can talk biblical stuff and talk about firmaments and whatnot. And if people are even getting to space, that's a whole other topic here that's very hot on the internet. But That's going to get some of my flat Earth people all excited. But what they did, I mean, was it cool? Would I have liked to have been there? Yes, no doubt. But I don't think by any means is it something is it one giant leap for womankind or humankind like they were trying to make it out to be.
Yeah, it really.
It's so divisive. It's so divisive to say, to even point out the fact that it was womankind versus mankind. I mean, we all know they're talking about the general, the whole population.
Yeah. Yeah. It's to a point where, one, I can't roll my eyes back far enough in my head, and two, is even worth arguing with them considering they're not arguing in any sort of sense of reality. Kendall and Steve will be right back after the break to talk whether or not AOC still in fact owns her Tesla. The jury is still out. She was asked about it. We'll get everyone's reaction of how she responded. Also, we'll check in with Monica Page, Turning Point's White House correspondent, right after the break. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this.